Welcome to Really American. I am Michael Hain. Well, it finally happened. The meeting of two of America's most hated lizard people in a competition over who was the biggest psychotic, malignant, narcissistic, intellectually and morally devoid prick. Elon Musk and Donald Trump, or Dentured Donald, as the internet is calling him after the Lisp affair. Yes, from its delayed start, this interview couldn't have gone any worse. It was spectacularly awful. And while I'm going to show you clips of it, I want to show you a brief clip that kind of encapsulates it, okay? My apologies to the goats. Originally planned as a 1 hour chat, which led to a blackout from millions of X users, the narcissistic duo just ranted for 2 hours like they were somehow, draft dodging corporate buddies, despite once being sworn online enemies. Like, we have a tweet right here from you, Elon, before when you were Elon Musk, before you were Elon Trump, basically saying like he's old and tired and it's time for him to go, into the sunset or whatever. And who the hell is even running Trump's campaign at this point? Is it like a hamster on a wheel or that thing on his head on a wheel? I mean, who would agree to this? How do they arrange this? And kept it going. I can only imagine the conversations that campaign staffers must be having. I actually have a simulated footage of that if you'd like to see it. Here we go.
What do I think we need to do? Look, I say that we no longer let him wear the orange makeup, all right? I don't say we tell him to drop out because we looks old. I say we no longer allow him to put on the Mako orange car paint so he looks even more ancient. Yeah. I mean, we don't know what the fuck we're doing. You know what I also think we should do? We should get him to have a conversation with the second most hated lizard person in America, Elon. Right, yeah, right. They can, laugh about how being billionaires is great and how they're going to fuck over the middle class, right? Basically how he said he denied everything in 2025. He knew nothing about it. And then we can have him talk about it the whole time during this interview. Better still, let's have him take out his teeth while he's doing this interview. Right, that'll make him look and sound less incoherent, crazy, and old. Yeah, that's a fucking great idea.
Sorry, I couldn't resist. Let's get to the unhinged interview itself.
The inflation, it doesn't matter what you make. The inflation is eating you alive. If you're a worker or if you're just a middle income person, you can't afford. 4 years ago, 5 years ago, people were saving a lot of money. Today, they're using all their money and borrowing money just to live. It's a horrible thing that's happening, and we'll end that quickly.
Well, I think a lot of a lot of people just don't understand where inflation comes from. Inflation comes from government overspending because the checks never bounce when it's written by the government. So if the government spends far more than it brings in, that increases the money supply, and if the money supply increases faster than the rate of goods and services, that's inflation. So really, we need to have we need to reduce our government spending, and we need to re-examine. I think we need like a government efficiency commission to say like, hey, where are we spending money that's sensible? Where is it not sensible? And we need to live within our means. We're currently adding, I think, $1 trillion to the deficit roughly every 100 days.
That's right.
And the interest payments on the national debt have now exceeded the defense budget. It's on the order of $1 trillion.
It's interest,
and it keeps growing.
And I saw an ad by Kamala saying how she is going to provide border security. Where has she been for 3.5 years? For 3.5 years, we have 20 million people poured in. It's a terrible.
Yeah, I think this, frankly, I think this is a fundamental existential issue for the United States. And if we have another 4 more years of open borders, and it's going to be even worse with another 4 more years, it's going to be even worse than it's been for the past 3.5 years. I'm not sure we've got a country.
You don't have a country left. Elon, if they get in, you will have 50 to 60 million people from all over the world, not South America only. We think of South America, we think of Honduras and El Salvador, Guatemala, and Mexico, the four. But it's not that. It's everywhere. They're coming in from
Yeah,
everywhere. And I had to stay in
yeah, I think
Mexico.
this is a super important
Yeah.
point. Like people, it's like basically when I went down there, I was like, well, where are people from? It's like almost no one was from Mexico. To
No,
be clear,
Mexico
it's
less
it's just it's just
less
it's
than
just the
the others.
border. It's just the border with Mexico. But the people coming in, it's Earth, the rest of Earth, and America is only about 4 or 5% of the population of Earth. It would only take a few percent of the rest of Earth to overwhelm everything in the
We're
U.S.
already
So
overwhelmed, Elon. We're overwhelmed.
Well, fucker and fuckatash. Put in your damn teeth, dude. There was also a pretty horrific moment in the interview where Trump basically was simping for Elon and went back and forth, but praising how he fired workers and is going to make it harder for unions to organize. And basically, they were just laughing about the death knell of the middle class. Let's take a look at that.
I mean, I look at what you do. You walk in and you just say, "You want to quit?" They go on
yeah.
strike. I won't mention the name of the company, but they go on strike, and you say, "That's okay. You're all gone. You're all gone." So every one of you is gone, and you are the greatest. You would be very good. Oh, you would love it.
Some of these Silicon Valley folks veering into Trump world with J.D. Vance and backing Trump. These are very rich men who have decided to back the Republican Party that tends to do good things for very rich men.
And I'm sure the smooth brain maggots will make a million excuses for their deranged, demented orange girlfriend, even though Trump would clearly walk on their corpse to avoid a puddle, but they don't get it because of the smoothness up there. Luckily, actually, the United Auto Workers intends on going after Musk and Trump following their threats or worker intimidation when it comes to unionization. Let's take a look at that.
UAW going after former President Donald Trump and billionaire Elon Musk over their comments about striking workers. The two men had a live conversation on X last night. Trump told Musk he liked how the billionaire handled labor disputes by firing workers who strike. The UAW says threatening to fire striking workers is illegal under the National Labor Relations Act. Union President Shawn Fain says the conversation shows Trump and Musk want working class people to sit down and shut up. The former president's campaign calls the move a political stunt and says, quote, President Trump strengthened our economy and delivered results on behalf of the forgotten men and women of America, and he will do it again when he's reelected on November 5th.
And I got to tell you, the Harris campaign, they are all over this. The social media people there, they deserve a raise because they have now infiltrated Lispy McLiar's Truth Social. They opened up an account there and they're taunting and trolling him in his own backyard. Look at this one they put out. As you can see right here, they are taunting him by mentioning how he went after Ron DeSantis. You remember that earlier in 2024 when he officially launched his campaign? It was a lot of glitches on Twitter. Well, they just called out Trump for it. Glorious. Well, I'm Michael Hain. This is Really American. If you like our content, please hit that subscribe button and check me out on TikTok at Mike Hain Comedian. Talk to you later.